Hello and welcome. Today we will be modeling this coffee table, modern coffee table. So let's get right into the action. Watch till the end, like and subscribe. I'll go to my top view, Shift A to create a plane. Okay, I'll create a plane. Press N so I can modify the dimension. So the width that I want is 100 centimeter and the depth will be 70. Let's take a look. Okay, now I want to adjust the set the height for the coffee table. So press tab to edit and E to extrude, and I will enter the value 45 and down. So 45 is the height for this coffee table. Now what I would like to do is minus the height of the legs. So in my wireframe view, so I'll select all of these and raise it up in the Z axis by 20 centimeter. All right. Very good looking coffee table. Now the next thing what I will do is add the curve to the corners. Okay. So I will go to my edge mode or press 2 and then click, or I can go to my wireframe view and then select all of these. Okay, and press Ctrl B to bevel. So let's open up the settings. So this is the amount of width for the bevel. So I will select 16 centimeter and let's try 8 segments or maybe more. But before I confirm, as you can notice in the top view, the curve is not equal. Okay, so I'll cancel this. Just press undo. The reason is if you check the scale value is off, it should be 1. So the easiest way to fix it, Control A and say all transform. All right. Now I can try again. Press Control B and let me give the same value 16, and 16 is too much. Let's reduce it to 12. Okay, maybe 10. Yeah, 10 is good. Now I will create a segment. Control R and bring it up here. Let me check the value. Maybe I will give it 42 or 43. Okay. Now this face over here, if I alt click, it will select the face, even though I am in edge mode. So I will bevel it, Control B, and I can use my mouse wheel to reduce the number of segments. I want 0 segments. So maybe just about here, and that's good. Okay, now this portion that I am looking at will be the detailing part, the part where I will create the ribbed effect. Okay, so let me select all of the faces, alt click, sorry, select the face, alt click, so it will select the loop, entire loop, and all I want is to extrude first. So let me press E to extrude, and I want to equally extrude it. So while the extrude is on, I will right click. The extrude is on. I will press Alt S, and then this way I can equally bring it out. Okay. So now I can come in here and adjust the offset. So maybe 0.3, maybe 0.2. Okay. And now what I would like to do is create the piece that we will be using it for the detailing. All right, so let me create a cube. Shift, let me get out of the edit mode. Okay, Shift A, mesh cube. This is the cube. We'll just scale it down. And in my top view, bring this out, scale it down, and scale it down further. And then just move it in somewhere here. And then what we can do is, I'll go to my front view. Okay, it's tiny little cube. So just move it up. Move it up. I think it's way too small. Maybe just a little bit here. In my wireframe mode, I'll just bring it down. Up about here. Let me show you in perspective. Where is this location? Okay. So now, let me push this back a little bit. And I want to give these two edges. Let me first collapse, scale and rotation. And I'll select this edge and this. And let's give some bevel. I like that. Okay, now I would like to expand this all the way down. So I'll select my vertex from my front view. Wireframe, I'll select the bottom vertex, just move it down, something like this. It can overlap. Okay, so we are ready with this piece. I will take this to copy it around alongside the shape of this table. All right, and this is going to be the fun part. But before I do it, I think I can, the important part is, let me make this pivot point center to the object. So right click, set the origin to geometry. As you can see, the pivot is in the center. And now what I can do is move this to the center of this scene. This is the cursor, so it should move there to 0 0 0. Yeah, so this value should be 0 0 0. So let's try it. Click and drag. Location we want to give 0. This is one way of doing it, but it's done. Now I need to add the modifier array. Okay, let's go closer and see what's happening. So if I want to give more copies, good, and I want to give more, little bit of a gap between each copy. So click and drag the X factor, something like that. We can adjust this later on in real time, but this is what we have for now. So the next thing we need is a path, the curve that this will follow. Okay, so we already have this shape. All right, so let's use this shape to get the path. Press tab to go into the edit mode, and let's select this edge loop. So alt click, our edge loop is selected. So all we need to do is separate it from the object. So one way of doing is press P to separate the selection. Okay. Okay, so let's come out of the object mode and select the path. Let's try to move it around. Yes, that's good. So let me adjust the position, slightly bring it down. And at the moment, this is a mesh object. I want to convert this to a curve. So easy way to do is right click, convert to a curve. You can see the symbol, the curve, and this is a symbol for the mesh. As you can see, at the moment it's a mesh symbol, so it's a mesh. We are converting it to a curve, and it has changed to a curve shape. So let's rename this. I will call this the genius name path. Okay, so this name will come in handy in a bit. So now we are ready to use this path. Okay, so I will add another modifier, click, and then use this modifier called curve. Now we need to pick, either we can use the picker or we can click this and it will give the list of all the paths. So we have only one and we know the name, so let's click it. Okay, so it has snapped in this location, no problem. So now we can increase the count and complete our round. And let's get a closer view. Just okay, so let's have an equal closing. Let's see, looks good. Fine. Now adjusting the height is no problem. We can go to our front view and press G, middle mouse button, and then we can just bring it down just like this. I can adjust in my perspective view. You get the idea. As you can see, okay, at the moment I am interested to have the position starting from here, but that's fine. All we can do is adjust the path. If I select the path and scale the path, so I don't want this to scale in the Z axis. So what I can do is press Shift Z. So it will not go in the Z axis, only X and Y. Okay, so let's have a closer look and then we can adjust it. So I will scale the path, press Shift Z, and oh, as you can see, it is rotating in the other direction. We will fix it in a bit. I will press and hold Shift so I can control how smooth it is. Okay, somewhere here, and then press G, Z, so I can move the, oh, let me select this object, G and Z, and move it up. Press hold and Shift and move it just about it. Okay, so now all I need to do is select this, press tab to edit, and it will show us the original. So wherever it is, we can do is click this. Okay, once we click this, we see the original piece. Okay, let's select all of the mesh, and we can do is in the edit mode, we can select all. Yeah, select all, and we can rotate it. Okay, so let's rotate it in the z-axis, and we want to complete 180-degree. So I'll just type in 180. So basically flipping it, and now let's press tab to come out of it and see the result. Of course, we have to adjust the scale now. So let's select the path and just scale it out. S to scale and Shift Z, and press and hold Shift so I can smoothly adjust it. Okay. So this is how our coffee table main part is done. Oh, yep. So we need to adjust this. So let's reduce or let's increase. Now we can use the X factor to adjust this positioning, the gap. So we can hold Shift and then use our lovely hold Shift. Sorry, not. I want to drag. Yep, somewhere here. So let's type in our value. So let's type in 1.66. Okay, so I think it needs more of a value, 1.69. Maybe 1.699. Aha. Hey. Now it looks almost there. Maybe 1698. No. 1699 was better. Sorry. 1.698. Mistake. Okay. Now it's good. It's time to create our legs. Oh, sorry. The leg for the coffee table. I will create a cube. And this cube we will create 4 centimeter by 4 centimeter. Okay, let's bring it over here, just roughly, and let's adjust the height, maybe 30. Oh, we needed 20. Okay, let's move this up, and we can use the snap to vertex, and let's just move this up maybe somewhere here, so it is perfect. So I'm trying to attach this part, yeah, and not the rib cage. Okay, so now I would like to add some detail. Press tab and let's give some bevel effect. Control B, and we can just have some bevel like this. Okay, and now what I can do is I want the pivot point to be in the center over here, and the reason is I want to use the mirror function. So Control A, all transform. Now I can use the mirror modifier, so it is perfect, and I can use y-axis as well, so it will copy in the other direction as well. So we are done with creating the leg. So one last piece is remaining, is the feature for the leg. I will press Control A, sorry, Shift A, and then curve point. I have the point. I'll make sure it is 3D and poly. Okay, I'll bring this closer to this leg, maybe somewhere here, maybe here. And now I can start to extrude. So I'll extrude it here, and then I want to extrude here, here, and then I can just extrude it all the way here to, let's add the value. We'll just make it 0, so it will snap to the origin. Okay, and now I would like to have a smooth curve. Okay, so the way I will be doing it is I will convert this to a mesh, and I will convert this to a mesh, and now I will select all of the edges, press A, E to extrude, press Z so that it is only going straight in the Z axis, and I would like to have it 2 centimeter. Fine. And now I will give solidify thickness almost to the thickness of the leg. I'll increase the thickness. Click and drag up to here. Fine. And now I want to collapse this. Control A, visual geometry to mesh, and now let's select these edges, alt click and shift alt click, so we have 2 edge loops selected, and let me try to press Control B. Control B. Okay, I need to select these as well. Control B. Okay, so this is how it has to be, but no, it doesn't work nicely. So I will undo everything. Let's undo it. This is okay, so I would like to smooth out the line. Okay, so if I try to select all of these and right click, select fillet, it's going crazy. Let's reduce the radius. Let's hold the shift key on the keyboard so I can fine tune it. Somewhere here. Okay, so you can easily adjust it if we want to, or we can dissolve the vertex so that we have a smooth line continuation. Okay, and now I can convert this to a mesh and select all of the line, press E to extrude, press the Z key so it is in the Z, and the height is 2 centimeter. Okay, now I would like to give thickness, so I'll go to my top view, and the thickness will be almost around the leg. Fine. And now we are almost ready, but first let me select all of these vertex and move this closer to the origin. Oh, what happened? Press G. and just move it closer. Okay. Now I can use my mirror modifier. Okay, so add mirror, and I can use the, where is it, and also select the y-axis, and this way it has completed the opposite side. And I can add one more detail here. Let me just select this and Control R, and the position is fine, so I'll right click and press 2 in the edge mode, and I will select P to separate the selection. So now if I select this edge and convert this to a curve, yeah, now I can give some thickness to it, some geometry to it. So I'll go to the bevel mode, make it 1 maybe, and let's give a value of 0.1. So this is giving us some detailing, nice edge trim. Okay, 0.12 maybe. So you can adjust it however you like. Okay, and what I would like to do in the end, select the rib, all of these, creating our rib effect, and then press tab, and this I will select in the wireframe mode. So I would like to end this little bit higher, so press G and Z, so I can move it up slightly. Yeah, something like this. Okay, so this is it. This is the end of the modeling of this coffee table. So I hope you liked it and you learned something from it. So give comments, your thoughts on it, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next episode. Take care and bye bye. Let's model the pipe. That's very easy. We have an empty seat, and let's press Shift A, mesh, select circle. Okay, press tab to edit, and then all the vertices are already selected. If not, this is how it's dark black. So select everything and press F to create a face. And now I can go to my front view, and let's start to extrude it. Either I can press E to extrude. Another way, faster way, is hold Control key on your keyboard and right click with your mouse. It will follow the mouse pointer. Very simple. Okay, and then I would like to come down and just follow, and then extrude and just bring it down, and then I can press G, just make it straight. Okay, so I can go to my wireframe. Let's clean this up a little bit. I'll press G just a little bit. So in my case, I can select all of these vertices and press X on the keyboard, select vertices, then select this group of vertices, press G, and then bring it forward. Alright, at the moment it is not straight, so the easy quick way to make it straight is scale. Red line shows us that this is the x-axis, so S for scale, and then X for the x-axis, and then we can just press the 0 key and then click. So now this is straight. Okay, you can see this is all straight. Now I can just press Control R, and I can add one loop cut over here. I would like to extrude this part, but before I do it, let's give some thickness to our mesh. Solidify, something like this. Okay, and let's click apply. Okay, now if I press Control 2, it will add subdivision with level 2, and let's press tab, and we can click on this so we can see the original mesh. And let's come over here, press tab. See, this is how the result. Let's fix this first. Press tab, and if I go to my face mode, select, click on this, click on the face and press I to inset, and then maybe just about here, and we can add one loop cut. Press Ctrl R, click and bring it down somewhere here. Now if I press tab, I can see now we have fixed this problem. Now let's come over here, and so select the face and then come over here or click on the edge in order to select all of the face ring. Press E for extrude and right click. Now I would like to bring these faces out equally. So the way we do it is press Alt S, and it will just use your mouse movement, and then maybe this much is enough. Click to accept it. And now if I press tab to see the result, okay, so we need to add more loop cuts. So Control R, and let's bring this closer. So one on this side and Control R, and then bring it closer so that it can hold the shape tightly. Okay, so this is good enough. Okay, so let's click apply. In the next video, we will create the fire system. So stay tuned. Take care and bye-bye. Alright, let's begin creating the iron bar coffee table. Select all and delete. And I will create a plane. And I will press N so that I can adjust the dimension. So let's make it meter by meter. All right, and the height I want is, press tab, E to extrude. The height that I want will be 45. Okay, that is good. Maybe we can try 65. Say fine, this is good. So we will begin now. Now we know how much is the width. So we will create a circle and we will give the value 65. That is good. And now if I go to my front view, let me pull this up to the top, all the way to the top. Let's give the exact value, that is 45. Okay, and now I can delete or hide this box. So I've deleted it. Let's press the tab key and select all of the vertex and press F to create a face. And now I can just select all and press E to extrude 2 centimeters. Now what I can do is go to my front view and I will start to create the iron bar. Shift A, curve, point. So let me expand this and I will select 3D and select poly. Okay, now I can bring this down. Now I can press G to move this. So I'm going to start to create the line from this point. Okay, so I'll press E to extrude and bring this down just a little bit here, and then extrude again somewhere here, and then extrude again back. So this one I can select and give the value 0. Select the object data properties, and then I will give some thickness to it. So scroll down, expand the geometry. Under the bevel section, I will start to give some depth. Okay, so that is too much. So let's type in 0.5. So the 0.5 is good. Now we can reduce the resolution The resolution is, let me show you. This is how the resolution affects. Okay, so maybe this is better because I will be applying subdivision. Okay, I'll give 2 anyways. Now what I can do is convert this. Yeah, select this, Control A, and you can select visual geometry to mesh. So now this is a mesh. Okay, select it, and I can give the subdivision. Select subdivision surface, and let's increase the level to 2. Press tab so I can go to my wireframe, so I can modify the shape of the iron bar just a little bit. So bring this out and bring this down and bring this down just a little bit. It's trying to modifying the shape, and then I can take this in and bring this in a little bit and down here somewhat like this. Okay, so I like what I have created so far. So now what we need to do is duplicate this around. So there are multiple ways we can do it. Okay, let's apply the array. So we go to the modifier, add modifier, and we can add array. And then if you see the direction of this array, oh sorry, it's over here. So the count number, if we increase, this is how it increases. We need to uncheck this relative offset. Okay, and let me create Shift A and empty axis. And now let me select the iron bar again, and from here if I select object offset, and let's pick the axis over here. Okay, now if I select the empty and rotate it in around the Z, as you can see, so we can give a very nice value to it. Let's go to the top view and we can adjust the rotation. Let's select a nice equal. So if we increase the count, let's come over here, increase the count. Okay, let's make it 15, and now we can adjust the rotation so that it's balanced nicely. Hold shift and you can manually adjust the smoothness of the rotation. Okay, so I think this is good so far. And now I think I can reduce the thickness of the top surface over here. So I'll go to the front view and go to wireframe mode, so I can select all of the vertex, press G and move this up -1. Okay, so the thickness is 1 centimeter, and this I can just move it up slightly. All right, create another circle. This time it will be a curve, and I know the value of X and Y, it's 65. I would like to give a thickness to this circle, which will be sitting at the top. I know the value, which is 445. And if we come under the geometry, we can give a thickness. Let's give a thickness 0.3. Let's see how this looks. 0.3. Okay, before I give any thickness, let's collapse. You can see the scale value is off. So Control A, and then we can give the scale value. So it's back to 1. And now we can give the thickness to our circle. And now the circle is good. Give a nice touch. We can give subdivision to it. Press Control 2 on the keyboard. So it will add the subdivision with level 2. Same thing over here. I can give subdivision, Control 2, but this needs some geometry to be added. Let me isolate this Q, and I have added the shortcut, okay, in my favorites. So what I can do is Control R. I can give a add more detailing, okay. And then the last thing that I would like to do is, let's get out of the isolation. So same process. Okay, so this is how you model an iron bar coffee table. All right, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care and bye bye. Welcome to new video series. We will be modeling this humanoid lamp, and please let me know in the comments if you liked it or disliked it, your thoughts on it. So let's get started with this. So stick around. And the first thing what I will do is, let me make sure I am using the vertex if I have to snap in future. All right, so the first thing I will create is the lamp shade. So I'll go Shift A and select circle, and I want to adjust the dimension. So I will press N on the keyboard, and I can adjust the dimension. So X and Y. So click and drag, so it will highlight both, and I can change both at the same time. So the value that I want to change is 22 centimeter. Okay, so now if I press the tilde key, and with the help of the mouse, I can, when I move the mouse, it will highlight different action. So I want this, so I'm not restricted to come over here and click on top of this. I can be away and just make sure the action that I want is highlighted, and I can just click it. Okay, so when I'm away, tilde key, view selected. Now what I want to do is extrude this, and I will extrude this to the height of 16 centimeter. So press tab to edit, and I can go to the edge mode, or I can press 2 or keyboard 2 on my keyboard, and then it is already selected, but I will select again. Press A to select all and E to extrude, and I can press Z so that it is going up straight in Z axis, and I can enter the value on my keyboard number pad, 16 centimeter. Okay, so this is my lampshade dimension. I can add thickness to it. So I'll come over here to modifier, add modifier, and I can add solidify. I can select solidify. So how much thickness I want to give? 1 centimeter is good, so I'll just keep 1. All right, and now I want to put this up in the height that I have already selected or I've decided. So first I will create a reference box. Shift A, I'll create a plane, and I can reduce it to any size I want. So let's say 10 centimeter. And this is going to be my reference for the height. So edit, tab. So I'll press tab to edit, and this is already highlighted. I will extrude. So the overall height for the lamp that I want will be 66 centimeter. So while this is active, I can just press or enter the value 66 on my number pad and enter. Okay, so as you can see, it is 66 centimeter. So I can go back to the object mode. I can press tab to come back to object mode, and I can select the lampshade. I can always rename it. I can just call this shade. Okay, good for organizing. So I can press the tilde key and go to my front view, and I can press G to move and press Z to restrict it to the Z axis. And when I come closer, I can just press and hold the control key, and it will snap to the nearest vertex, and this is what I want. So this is the height of the lamp. That's good. Now what I need to do is use this. This will be my the support of the lamp. So I can use this, and let's give the X and Y width to something. I can click and drag, so I can change both at the same time. 2.5 centimeter. Okay, and if I go to my front view, and I can go to my wireframe more view and tab to go into the edit mode and select the top face. It is selecting the face at the moment, and I can just bring it down just a little bit. So the way I did it, by press G and then use the middle mouse button, so it will restrict to the Z axis. The blue line is the Z, so I can just bring it over here somewhere and then click to accept it. Okay, this is good. So now what I will do is start to create my first functioning pivot point, so where the lamp support can act as a spine for this humanoid lamp. So I will select this, press tab. This is going to be interesting. So I will select the bottom face. Okay, and I will go to my front view, and let's bring this up. So I'll press G, and I can click the middle mouse button, so it will restrict it to the Z axis, the nearest axis. And let's bring this up to about, let's say, 35. Okay, I can type in 35 centimeter. Okay, and now this is where I will go into my edit mode, and then I can add 2 edge loops. Okay, so press Ctrl R and then use my mouse wheel to increase the amount of edge loops I want. So I just need one more, so I can use the mouse wheel and then click to accept it, and then just right click to keep it, leave it in the center. At this moment, what I will do is duplicate this. Okay, you'll see it. I'll go to my left view, and I'll press Shift D, and I can use middle mouse button, click middle mouse button, so it comes down. Okay, I'll just keep it here for the time being, and let me work on this top piece first. so we can understand what's going on. Okay, so in my edit mode, I can select, highlight this face. I can go into the face, or I can press 3, click, and then shift click. And now I can press E to extrude it down. So extrude it down somewhere here. Let's see how much I want to extrude. Let's extrude for 1.5. Instead of 2, I will extrude for 1.5. Okay. So let me bring this object down just a little bit and focus on this. As you can see, the same thing I will do for this piece, but for this one I will do it from the center. Okay, but for this one, first let me create that rounded edges. So in order to do it, I will select this. I'll go into my edge mode, select this edge, and I can do the same for this. And I can press Ctrl B. Okay, so the scale must be off. Okay, let's check the scale. The scale is not at 1. So it should be at 1. So in order to bring this, I need to collapse it. And we are in the object mode. It is selected. Press Ctrl A, and I can apply the rotation and scale, or I can do it separately. Okay, so for this time I'll just do scale. As you can see, it is now back to 1 and 1. Okay, now if I go in my edit mode, and my edges are already selected, and now if I try doing the Ctrl B, and as you can see, it's perfectly fine. I can use my mouse wheel to add more detail to it. So let's bring it over here, and let's accept it for now, and then we can adjust from the settings over here. It pops up automatically, so you can finalize and fine tune. So let's say the segments I want maybe 8, and this width value, I will enter the value maybe 1.2. Yeah, 1.2. Let's remember this value 1.2. Okay, this is the end of the video. We will continue in the next episode, so please like and subscribe so that we don't miss the upcoming videos. So stay safe and see you next time. This is the continuation from part 1. It is highly recommended. If you haven't seen part 1, you should check it out first before this video, and the link should be in the description. Alright, so let's continue with this episode. I will enter the value maybe 1.2. Yeah, 1.2. Let's remember this value 1.2, and segment 8. Okay, the same thing we will do for this piece, but we will do it only for the center part. So I will go to my face mode, select the face, and then extrude. How much I want to extrude? Let's say I did it 1.5 for the piece above. Okay, and now I can collapse this first. So the scale value should be 1. So Control A, and then scale. Okay, that's good. Now if I go to my edge mode and select these two edges and press Control B, okay, it remembers the segment value. So we just want to enter 1.2. Okay, so the piece is ready, and all we need to do is adjust it. So I'll go to my left view maybe. Okay, and let's click this and move it up. Press G, middle mouse button, and then I can press and hold Control so that it snaps to the nearest vertex. Yeah, it is perfectly fine. Now let's see. Okay, so this is, I have created a joint so that it can rotate from this pivot, but at the moment the pivot is not here. If I press R to rotate, okay, the pivot is here. This is the pivot point. So let me show you the easiest way to change the pivot. Okay, let's change the pivot. Select the object. Okay, and let me show you from the front view. I want the pivot to be in the center over here, not here, not here, in the center over here. So the easiest way to do is we will be utilizing the help of the 3D cursor. This is called the 3D cursor. Okay, so we can move this around and then our pivot point will follow it. Okay, this is how the workflow goes in Blender. Okay, so let's go to the front view, and with this object selected, I will press tab, go into my edit mode, and then whichever is selected, click and drag, and it will select only this part. Okay, that is fine. So all I need to do is press Shift S and then cursor, which is 3D cursor, to select it. When I do this, it will come into the center of the selection. Okay, that's good. Now I can come back to the object mode by pressing tab. Now we need to bring this pivot point following the location of the 3D cursor. So I'll select the object again and right click, set origin to 3D cursor. Okay, as you can see, now we don't need the 3D cursor over here. We can just always press Shift C to bring this back to the origin over here. Shift C. Okay, now we have the pivot point where we want. So in order to test this, if I press R to rotate, it will rotate from this angle. Okay, but it's rotating in a weird way because it is rotating in X and Y. So let's press Y to restrict it in the Y axis, and as you can see, it is behaving perfectly the way it should behave. Okay, I'll undo it. Okay, so we will move on to the next step. Okay, we have created our first joint over here, and now we will move on to the next step. We will create the base. Okay, so I will create a cube. I'll create a mesh, Shift A, cube, and then this is a big cube. We'll change the dimension. Let me click and drag and enter 2.5. Okay, so this is following the same dimension as this. I can bring this up, press G, and then I can snap it. Good. Okay, and now I can go into the edit mode and select all, and I can scale it outwards. Press S, and I don't want it to scale uniformly in all direction. So what I can do is just press and click the middle mouse button, and it will restrict to the Y axis or the nearest axis. Okay, so let's bring it out somewhere here. Okay, maybe 6, just to round it off, and then I can collapse the scale. Press Ctrl A, scale value. So we are good. So now we can continue and build our next joint. Okay, so what I will do before I continue, I'll create a small detail. I'll create a stud. So in my front view, press Shift A, I will create a cylinder. I will create a circle. And I can just scale it. Okay. And rotate it, press R. I want it. I can press X and then press 90. Okay. And then I can just bring this up. So I will create a small detail over here. So I'll go to my left view and then bring this out somewhere here, and then go into my edit mode and select all and press E to extrude. Okay, as you can see, and now I can just extrude it again. This time when I extrude, I want to scale this inward, so I can press S and just scale it inwards. So basically we are creating this detail, and then I can just move this outwards, press G and bring this out like this, and this is our detail. Let me move this in somewhere here, and I can fill this gap. So let me select this. If it is not selected, I can alt click, and then I can press F to fill it, and then I can press E to extrude it in. Okay, if you want, you can give more detail to it. For example, if I alt click here, press Ctrl B and then reduce with the mouse wheel. So I just want to give this slight detailing over here. I can do the same thing over here. Alt click, Ctrl B, and then I can just create a small chamfer. So now this is all good. Okay, so I will duplicate this on the other side over here. The easiest way to do is using the mirror function. So in order to use the mirror function, I can bring the pivot point to the center of the origin. Okay, so let me first collapse it to bring the scale back to 1. So Control A, and I can click on the scale so it's all 1, and then I can press Control A and select all transform. What this will do is it will bring the origin here to the center. Okay, just watch. And now if I come over here to mirror modifier, it will mirror this based on this axis. In the direction, we can select which axis we want it to mirror. So let's select Y. Click on Y, and it has successfully mirrored the detail. Okay, this is all good. Okay, this is the end of the video. We will continue in the next episode, so please like and subscribe so that we don't miss the upcoming videos. So stay safe and see you next time. Alright, so let's continue with this episode. Now what we can do is, before I continue, I would like to give a chamfer detail over here. So I can select this, press tab to edit, and I can alt click, let's see, or I can select the face, select, shift click, and I can do a shift click over here, and I can press Control B. As you can see, it is creating a nice chamfer detail. Okay, so this is looking good. We can do the same for this one from the outer part. So let's select the face, click, shift click, okay, and I can press Ctrl B, and let's give some chamfer to it. That is all looking good. Now select this and shift click. I can go to my front view, move this down, and then rotate it 90 degree, or maybe I can rotate it minus 90 degree. Sorry, minus 90 degree. And let's press G to bring this closer over here. Wrong direction. So what we can do is mirror it. Press Ctrl M, press X, and click. Okay, now I can move this back here. Okay, when I press G and move, I can press and hold Control, it will snap. Good. Let me move this in the y-axis and hold Control to snap. This is all good. Now I can duplicate this one and bring it over here. So we will do this from the top view. So duplicate by pressing Shift D. Okay. And then I can just move it in place roughly. So and then I can press G and then I can snap it. So let's see, in the perspective view, we have to bring this down. So if I go to front view and then just bring this down, something like this. Okay, let's bring this down further. So somewhere here. And it should go in. Looking much better. And now in order to create the leg, the shoe, I can just extrude it. Okay. I can add a detail. Bring this down. Maybe somewhere here. And then I can take Shift. I can select all of the faces over here. Click, Shift click. Okay. And before I move on, I want to align the edges to this edge. The way I can do this is select these three front edges, the small thing, press G and Z, and then hold the Control key. Okay, so this is all good. Face selection, and then I can extrude. So if I press E to extrude, and I can extrude it up to here, depending how much I want. Okay, this is looking good. Yep. I just need to reduce the length of this one. I can select the bolt and the leg, shift click, and if I press tab, I can go to my vertex mode and I can select, sorry, it should be done in wireframe mode. Select all of these and then I can press G to move it. How much I want to move? Let's say 5 centimeter, just to keep it round. 5 centimeters. So we know the value, how much we want to move this one. So press G, middle mouse button. While this is moving, I can press 5, enter. So 5 is the value. Perfect. All I need to do is select this and I can apply. I can select this, press Ctrl A, and I can click on all transform. I can do the same with this one. Control A, select all transform. So it gives me the pivot point here in the center if it is not already in the center. And I can do the same with this one. Select this and press Control A and select all transform. No, it doesn't work, so I will undo it because it's already having this modifier. So I can do is collapse it. So I can click over here and apply. Now if I go and press Ctrl A and select all transforms, so the pivot point is here. So I can apply mirror modifier to all of these 3 items. So select this, apply mirror, and it should be mirroring the y-axis. Same goes with this one, apply the mirror, it should be y-axis. And same goes for the bolt over here, apply mirror, and instead of x it should be y-axis. Okay, so now as you can see, we are getting there. Okay, we can just align it a little bit better. Let's go to a front view. You can select all of these, and then I can just press G, bring this down and hold Control to snap to the nearest point vertex. Okay, this is looking good. So we have successfully completed modeling this. Now all we need to do is adjust the height a little bit to our liking. As we can see, this part is a bit longer. Click and drag all of this. In my wireframe mode, I can just press tab. I can just select all this part up to here and press G and press Z to bring this down. All we need to do is now do some posing. We can easily do it. We have the pivot point. We can select this, shift click, click, shift click, and then I can press Ctrl J. So now these are all part of the same object, and we will adjust the pivot point of the shade and this spine over here so that when we move, it is moving all uniformly. All right, so let's do it. First I will do for the lampshade. So this pivot point, but before that, let me bring the 3D cursor to this location. Okay, so if I select this and let's click on this this item, I will go to my front view, wireframe mode, and let me click and drag, select this and press Shift S cursor to select it. So this is the cursor, and now all we need to do is select this object. Okay, there is a mistake. I am missing the object on the other side. Fine, so I made a mistake, so let me fix the mistake. Shift D to duplicate, and then press Ctrl M, and it will be Y. Okay, so it just flips it around, basically mirroring it. Ctrl M, M for mirror. Okay, now I can just roughly place it matching the left side. Okay, all right, now let me try again. Let me select. So these two are selected, so the pivot point will come to the center of the selection, the 3D cursor. So while this is selected, press Shift S and select cursor to selected, so it is snapping to the center. And now we can select the main object, right click, origin to 3D Casa. You can see it. We can do the same for the shading. Right click, origin to 3D Casa. Okay, very good. Okay, this is the end of the video. We will continue in the next episode. So please like and subscribe so that we don't miss the upcoming videos. So stay safe and see you next time. Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting tutorial. By the end of this video, you will be able to model this and apply interesting finishing to this model. So let's jump right into the action and begin the tutorial. So this is the empty scene. I will begin. I'll create a plane, Shift A, plane, press N on my keyboard and I'll select item so I can edit the dimension. So the X value will be 28 and the Y will be 8 centimeter. Let's go closer. And then the height, let's press tab, E to extrude, and the height will be 30 centimeter. So this is my rough dimension reference. Okay, so what I would like to do is Shift D to duplicate and then just move it back. Okay, and I will work on this one. All right, if I go to my front view and in my wireframe mode, we can start to modify this. Press tab to edit, and I'll press Ctrl R, use the mouse wheel so I can add three loop cuts. Okay, now what I can do is select the top one and just bring it, scale it inwards. Okay, without changing the depth. Okay, the same thing I will do for the bottom. Press S and then use the middle mouse button, click it so it is, the red line is highlighted, so I'm only scaling it in the x-axis. Okay, so if I go to my front view and let's adjust the middle loop and press scale, middle mouse button click, and then bring it out just a little bit so that I get that curve. Okay, and now this one, the top one, I can just bring it down. Okay, somewhere here, then scale it in furthermore, and then E to extrude, bring it up, middle mouse button click so it is sticking to the z-axis, and then scale it inward slightly, and then scale extrude again and extrude one more time, and this time I can just scale it in all direction. Okay, and as you can see the scale value, let's collapse the scale, Control A, select rotation and scale. So my scale value is 1 and rotation is 0, so we are all good. So we are getting the shape, so let's modify it further. Press tab and I'll select the vertices and then just bring it in further without changing the depth, just in the x-axis. Okay, this is good. Now we can start to add more detail to it. So I'll go into the face selection mode. I'll select the face, shift click, add to the selection. I'll do the same thing from here, shift click, add to the selection. Okay, now if I press I can inset it inwards Okay, maybe this much. Okay, if I go to my front view, I can just move this up, press G and Z, and just move it up. Yeah. And now while this side of faces and this side of the faces are selected, the cool thing that Blender offers is if we go to edge and select bridge edge loops. Aha! So it creates this ring effect for us. Okay, and this is what I wanted. Okay, now if we press Control 2, go to the object mode first. Make sure we are in the object mode. Select, and then we can add subdivision modifier. Add one more level. Okay, as you can see, we need to add more detail so we can control the shape. Okay, so let's begin. Control R and then bring this closer all the way here. Control R, bring this closer all the way here. As you can see, we are getting the shape. Okay, and let's click this button over here so I can see the actual mesh. And what I can do is I would like to select all of these faces on the inside. So the easy way is go to the face selection mode and then bring the mouse closer to any of the edge and then alt click will select the entire face ring. Okay, now I can press I to inset and then I can just inset it. So I get this edge loop from both sides. This is good. And what I can do now, the bottom face, select, shift select, press I to inset so it can hold the shape better, and press tab so we can see it is holding the shape better. And then we can add one edge loop over here. Control R so that it can hold the shape better. As you can see, it has tightened up the edges. Same thing I can do over on this side. Yeah, okay, it's good. Now the top part, let's make this rounded. The way we can do is go to the vertex mode, select two vertices on this side, and then let's select shift and drag to select these two vertices and then scale it inwards. Okay, so let's add these two as well. Let's include this side as well and then scale it inwards. All right, and now we need to add one more edge loop in the center, or maybe two. Okay, and right click, and now in the wireframe mode, let me select these vertices. Okay, and then scale it outwards just to get a little bit of a rounded shape. And then let's bring this even closer. Let's select the face. Then select the face and select the face. So that makes it easy. And scale it inwards and then scale it outwards. So now we're getting that round shape. Okay, that is good. Further, what we can do is select the edge ring over here. All right, and let's scale it inwards and Control B so we can add a bevel, and now you can see we're getting that effect over here. And let's expand this further, move it up slightly. Okay, and now this part over here, let's inset. While this top face is selected, let's press I to inset, press I again, press I again. I did it multiple times in order to get my edge loops, and then press E to extrude, and I'll extrude it downwards. Now, as you can see, it doesn't look right, so we can scale it, so we can hide it. Okay, all right, and then further we can push it in and scale it further. Okay, that is good. Either we can delete this face, or we can just add more detail to it so that it remains tight. The best way is to delete the face. We won't see it, and when we subdivide it, let's see how it looks. Press tab, and it looks good. Yeah. Now over here we can select this edge over here and select this edge over here, and then scale it inwards slightly so that it follows the shape nicely. Okay, it's looking good. All right, I think we have successfully completed the modeling. Now let's add the finishes to it. Okay, so the way we will be doing it, we will apply two different finishes. So press tab, and let's come over here. I will start with the inner ring. We already learned how to select the face ring, so we'll go into the face selection mode, bring the mouse closer to one of the edges, alt click. So the face is selected. Now how about if I want to add one more ring to the selections? So the way we do it, hold the shift, bring the mouse closer to any of the edges, and then alt click. All right, same thing I will do from this side. Hold shift and then alt click on the edge, and now I have this selection. So this selected part, I will give a gold finish to it. So let's come down over here to the materials, click on it, and let's click new, and then let's rename this gold. Okay, and let's give something closer to the gold. Okay, fine, and let's come down, let's increase the metallic, and let's reduce the roughness. We can see the preview, expand the preview. So this is what the preview is. It's good. And just to be on the safer side, let's click on assign. Okay, now let's press invert the selection, Control I. So the selection is inverted, so this part will be white. So let's click on this plus and click on new. Let's rename this white. Okay, scroll down and let's reduce the roughness, maybe something like, as you can see, and let's click on assign. Okay, so now we would like to see, in order to see it, press the Z key and then click on material preview. Okay, and okay, so the model is, we need to make the model smooth. So the model is selected, right click, shade smooth, and now you can see. Okay, and we can play with the values. If we increase the metallic on this one slightly, so you get a nice looking like shiny looking vase. Okay, that is all good. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Please give a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. See you in the next video. Take care and bye bye.